Hi, everybody. It's David Rhodes, Editor-in-Chief, Fire Engineering Magazine, and the Education Director for FDIC. And we are live at FDIC. It's Saturday morning. We're doing a wrap-up show here, and man, what a week.
It's been amazing.
It has been crazy.
I'm tired.
Me too. Me too. I've been sleeping pretty good, though, but
Yeah.
it has been a busy week. I'm joined with two very close friends, Candice McDonald from the National Volunteer Fire Council, who has been on our board for several years, even before she was on the National Volunteer Fire Council. And we've had some good times at many board meetings, poking fun of each other. And also, she's gone from carrying rifles and crawling through the woods and wearing body armor at NASA to now representing the Volunteer Fire Council. And Clark Lamping from Clark County.
Yep, they named
Nevada.
the county after me. Yeah,
I got some good stories from the Strip there in
everyone has,
Vegas.
Yeah. Just to clear some up, if you've ever been to the Strip, you're actually in Clark County.
That's right.
Right. So anything north of the Circus Hotel is City of Las Vegas. Downtown, Fremont Street, City of Las Vegas can have that nonsense. We'll
Right.
take the Strip.
So they're like the old Vegas, and
Old
you guys
Vegas,
are the
yeah.
new Vegas. You guys are getting ready for a big race coming up here.
Formula One.
Formula One.
Formula
I
One,
heard. I heard the pricing is unbelievable.
They have, so, Chief, if you want to go, they have a suite at Caesar's Palace that overlooks the track. Right, top of the hotel.
Yeah.
$5 million for a week.
Let me check with Eric. on
5
that. Let's see how
million.
we did on the show
Yeah.
this year and see if he can. Maybe I can get that comped.
There you
whatever.
go.
There you go.
So let's talk about the week. Candice, tell us a little bit about how many FDICs you've been to, how you got involved, and
Yeah.
just your experiences over the years.
So I am a volunteer firefighter in Ohio. I've been in the fire service for almost 20 years. I come from a rural area, a little small county that wasn't on the map until the train derailment happened. So that's, yeah. So
Well, if you have to be known for something.
I know. So now, yeah. Luckily, I was in Aruba when that happened. So, so about 15 years ago, I was looking at ways to network and meet with other people to grow my own skills. So a good friend of mine who's been in the fire service for a long time, Steve Austin, sits on a lot of boards, the Arson, CFSI. He says, why don't you come and help us out in the responder safety booth, and we'll pay for you to come and be at FDIC. So I came, and through that connection, he introduced me to Dr. Dennis O'Neill, Harry Carter, and all of these people. And what I learned was, if you approach the instructors here and you say, hey, I want to learn from you, they will take you under their wings and mentor you. So from that, they started mentoring, and then I decided I was going to put in to teach at FDIC. I got rejected. But what I did do is, in the rejection, if you ever put in to teach, they may reject you, but they'll say, hey, why don't you write an article on your topic? I wrote an article, and they said, hey, we're going to print this. So it was printed, and then when I put in the next year, I was accepted, and from there it's been history. So.
Yeah. And you worked your way in and ended up on the board.
I ended up on the board, and I was very grateful to get to serve with you and Bobby and Diane on the board. And it's just, I always tell people, if you want to make connections from all over the country, this is the place to be, whether you're career or volunteer. If you're looking for resources, and it's been so great to see so many volunteer firefighters here this week, attending the EMS side and the fire side. So this is the place to come.
Right. Clark?
And what did you teach, Candice? Did you
So,
teach this year?
Yeah, I actually, I taught a 4-hour pre-con on recruitment and retention. I've been doing that for, I think this is my 6th year of teaching the pre-con. So my dissertation was actually on retention of the volunteer fire service.
Okay.
And so it's something I'm very passionate about. And so had a great class, and I hope I get to share that message again next year. And so if you are in the volunteer fire service, or even in the career fire service, because we still have some of the same issues with recruitment and retention, come and take that pre-con, or reach out if you need any advice or whatever. That's what it's about, networking and building solutions together.
And you, I know you don't care, but I neglected to mention this is Dr. Candice.
Doctor in debt. That's what I used to
Doctor.
always say.
Doctor,
So,
doctor.
and I want to tell a story about how that came. So, I was at FDIC one of the early years, and I had just applied for a PhD program, and I got a rejection letter for that too. So, and I was kind of down, and Steve Austin said to me, I want to introduce you to two people. this is Dr. Harry Carter, and this is Dr. Dennis O'Neill. So we're out here on the vendor strip, and he said, show them that letter. And so I show them this rejection letter, and they said, this is bull crap, maybe with another word. But they said, apply again and don't give up. And they mentored me through the process. And again, that's what the connections at FDIC does for you. Because I don't know if I would have went on. I may have given up, but they were like, no, keep going. And so.
How long ago was that?
That has probably been about 10 years ago.
And obviously we lost Carter
Yes.
not long ago.
Yeah.
But Dennis O'Neill here teaching still
And
this
what
year.
was really cool is Dennis was my mentor for so long. Well, this year, Dennis got to be my date to the author dinner. So it's kind of that full circle thing. So I thought that was kind of a fun thing this year.
That's awesome. Clark,
Yes, sir.
Tell us about your experiences with FDIC and fire engineering over the years.
Yeah, I came about 10 years ago, paid my own way, right, and walked through here. And I remember, we were just talking about this. So I'm sitting in a bar, and all these people are, idols to me. Right? I didn't know any of these people, but I read, I listened to them, I knew who they were. And so I remember sitting in a bar, and I had my phone out, and I took a selfie, and Mike Ciampo was 2 tables over. And I texted my guys, I'm sitting in the same bar as Mike Ciampo. And they said, oh my gosh. And the funny thing was, it just evolves. And I was under the impression that these people were Hollywood stars and they would be traveling with entourages and completely unapproachable. I could not have been more wrong. Everyone here is so approachable, just like Candice said, doctor, just like Candice said, that you just walk up, hi, here's who I am, can we talk? And everyone is so accommodating. And it's been a fantastic experience, and my phone is full now of the biggest names in the American fire service, and international. The first night I got here, I went out and had dinner with 6 Australians. And the second night, I went out with a whole bunch of Canadians. And 2 nights ago, I went out with a bunch of guys from Miami. So it's like a foreign country as well, right. The Miami guys. But it's just fantastic that you just sit down anywhere you go.
Talk about a legend. We got one right there.
Look at there.
Yeah.
What's up, Ray?
Ray McCormick.
Yeah.
That's one of the guys I was talking about, Ray McCormick.
Yeah.
Ray McCormick. So it's fantastic. It is the networking, unbelievable. I'm here for life. You're stuck with me, Dave. You're stuck with me
I
for
hope
life.
so.
I'm sorry.
Both of you.
Yeah.
So what was like the first thing you taught here?
First thing, I developed a class on building construction. It was polystyrene, the plastics and the foams that they're putting in buildings. And I don't know if anyone remembers 2008. Yeah, 2008, we had the Monte Carlo fire in Las Vegas, and that building was caused by this product called EFIS, Exterior Insulating Finishing Systems. It's a foam product with stucco on it. Caught the fire, rolled up and down, and then rolled across the front of the Monte Carlo Hotel. It was a very, very significant fire for the Southern Nevada fire departments. And I started doing some research and thought, wow, this is all over the country, it's all over the world. And I developed a class on that, and then we had Grenfell Tower, different product, but also exterior cladding that's highly combustible that they're putting on the outside of these buildings.
Right.
So I did a lot of research and developed a class on that. It was really successful, and I just moved that into high-rise now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you're doing the podcast with Gustin, right?
Yes, yep.
Well,
the
that's
Hump
got
Day
to be
Hangout.
fun.
Everything with Gustin's fun. Unpredictable and fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gustin helped us kick this whole FDIC live off, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
What do you think this year? Like, what was one of your big moments here? I mean, they're all so good, but what was a big moment for you?
Yeah, the big moment was the opening ceremony.
Yeah.
And everyone was on the edge of our seats. Everyone's like, what's this going to look like without Bobby Halton? How are we going to, what's this going to look like? Is it going to go? Is it not going to go? Poor Chief Rhodes, he's got big shoes to fill, right? And
We cleared that up, I hope.
Yeah, I sat there and thought, oh, we are in good hands. You crushed it. You crushed it. You honored Bobby Halton. You crushed the opening ceremony. And the word on the street is, we're in good hands.
Good.
We are in good hands now.
That's what we wanted to accomplish. You know, of course, coming up in the fire service, you know, everybody's sitting out there going, okay, who is this guy?
Yeah.
You know,
Who's this guy?
It was
From
it was
Atlanta.
tough. Yeah. It was tough getting through there. I actually held it together pretty good till Thursday. And then when, what a treat to have Bobby's family here.
Yeah.
Is that not?
Oh, I would have to say
That's
that
the
was
highlight.
my highlight. And So every year I do the 5K, and I would look forward to my hug from Bobby at the end. And I said to my coworker, I said, I'm really going to miss my hug from Bobby, but what I didn't know is that I had something special, is that I got to walk the 5K with Bobby's wife,
Right.
the whole 5K, and just talking to her, and that was just so special.
Yep, that was me too. Just having them here, and not only to support me, which they were just tremendous, you know, ever since Bobby passed, stayed in touch with Dean, and all of Bobby's sons were here, Marcia was here, all his sisters and his brother were here. But Thursday, when the Lifetime Achievement, that family group hug on the stage, that one got me.
Yeah,
I finally had a little water come down there, and and then I didn't get to go off stage and recover. I had to go right back to the podium.
Roll right into it.
Yeah, so we went right on to the next thing. But they had a blast. They ran and walked the 5K, and then Dean and Ryan did the stair climb yesterday, and Dean was the first one up. He spoke, and that was just tremendous.
Yeah.
And you know, it was good for me, but I think it was also good for all the attendees, because Bobby's funeral was very private. Just a small group of us got to go, and to be able to do the tribute and have them there, it kind of gave everybody some good closure and let everybody know that, man, this guy can't be replaced, but we're moving on, and we're establishing our own way.
Yep.
How about you? That was your big one, getting to do that?
But there was also something else. I want to go back to your opening ceremony and your remarks. So, you know, in your opening ceremony, you talked about some of the challenges as you started to grow your own skills and wanted to and grow your wisdom, and about how people in your own department didn't always receive that well. And I think many of us have experienced that throughout our careers. That, I literally was tearing up as you were sharing that. And I think that the message that I took from that is, no matter what those naysayers are saying, keep going forward, keep getting the training, keep networking, and just don't give up. And I think you gave so many people hope with those words.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just got to keep grinding, because what they say, the harder I work, the luckier I get.
Yeah.
And I mean, I never imagined I'd be editor of fire engineering with my background. Everybody always asks, how'd you pull that off? I said, well, have you guys ever watched the movie Forrest Gump? It's kind of like I Forrest Gump my way into here, because all those crazy things happened to him along the way. It just sort of happened. So
I always say I'm not very smart. I just have to get up earlier than everyone in the morning.
that's it.
And I say I just never shut up, so they just have to take me in.
So there's always some fumbles and some things that happen along the way with classes and with setups or anything. So even whether it's over the years or whatever, what's some big, like, hilarious thing that you can look back now and it's funny?
Right.
This happened to you while you're here with a class or anything.
All right. Well, we were having lunch. Captain Jimmy Davis from Chicago, Bill Gustin from Miami. We were having lunch yesterday, and we ordered this soup, and Jimmy Davis takes a taste of the soup, and he says, ooh, this is too spicy for me. I've got really sensitive guts. Jimmy Davis drove to Chicago, and he says, oh, this soup's too spicy. I'm not going to be able to handle that. He says, I've got to sit in a car for over 2 hours. And I said, I got an idea. Jimmy, next year for your class, you can do an evaluation of every gas station bathroom from Indianapolis to Chicago. That'll be a great class. Bill Gustin's there. He spits his soup out. I'm also, Bill Gustin's daughter's there. She's across the table, and she's wearing a really nice jacket, and Bill Gustin spits his soup across the table onto his daughter, and she was already, you know, she's had this much with Bill Gustin already, and then she's oh, we were dying.
You know, I bet that there is some good bathroom stories here, because it's a long way to get to it's a long way to get to a bathroom in this
Absolutely.
place.
And on top of it, all there is to eat is steak here. Steak. Can I please have a salad? Can anyone please? A piece of fish and a salad would be fantastic at this point.
Did anybody go try the food down in Lucas Oil this year? I heard it was pretty good.
I didn't get down
Did you
there
see
to
the
try-
little restaurant row?
I did
They had the
see
cantina.
it, but we were just so busy that we
Right.
didn't get to. But I got a good funny story, though, that did happen. So we were so busy on the first day that the exhibit floor opened. We're running around, and I said to my coworker, I said, I got to eat or I'm going to be hangry, and you're not going to want to work with me. So we walk out, and we go over to Harry and Izzy's. We sit down and order, and I look at her, and I said, do you got your credit card or your wallet? And she says, no. And I said, either do I. So I'm like, oh, one of us is going to have to do dishes here. So
Who's the slower one? Because the faster
so
one's getting out.
I said, let's order. I'll run back and get it. But it was like, so I didn't get to try the food this year, but I'll have to definitely add that. But when we're talking about funny stories, so, and I mentioned I got my start coming to FDIC through the ResponderSafety.com booth. And and if you're not familiar with that, ResponderSafety.com nonprofit, Cumberland Valley, they're all about preventing struck-bys on the roadway. We know we have all those daggone D drivers that are always trying to kill us. So that has been our mission, to educate firefighters and educate the public. So a couple years ago, we got this great idea during the 5K that we were going to wear traffic cone costumes in the 5K. So we ordered these big traffic cone costumes. It was me, Dave Lewis, Ryan Doughton, an assistant chief out of New Jersey. So we're in the 5K, and Dave wanted to walk, which was fine. So at the end, I said, Dave, we're going to run it home. And if you've ever done the 5K here at FDIC, the very last part is this little grassy area. I said, come on, Dave, let's run. He's running, we're running, and he's giving it his all. Next thing I know, I see he trips over his cone costume, and he looks like a hit cone because he's just rolling away. And so I didn't know whether I should laugh or call EMS.
Right.
So, and then Bobby's like, you guys are ridiculous. But it was great, and I know there's pictures that were floating around on the FDIC website after that, but that has probably been the funniest moment that we've had over the years.
And the traffic cone has shown up in numerous social media posts for you over the years. That's kind of become your signature.
It's been kind of my icon. So when I travel, and Clark and I were talking about this, I love to travel. So anywhere I go, I look for a traffic cone and make sure it's compliant, with the 2 stripes. So I have found one. I went dog sledding in Alaska. They flew us up to a glacier. I found a traffic cone that was compliant on that glacier.
On a glacier?
Yes, and last year we were at the Recruitment and Retention Summit for the NVFC. We went to Sedona to do a little buggying around there. I found a traffic cone that was compliant in the middle of the desert in Sedona. So I get these traffic cone pictures everywhere. So now all my friends that I've met through FDIC, they fill my inbox and tag me with all their traffic cone pictures. So it's been kind of
that's your signature
thing. Yes.
Maybe next year, an outfit for the booth.
Yeah.
Could be an attraction, maybe a giveaway.
We used to have the traffic cone stuff, and people would come by. We've had fire administrators in those, all kind of instructors, but then COVID happened, and so.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's a future here for you, Candice.
Yeah.
Maybe the folks here that are selling traffic cones, you might be their spokesperson at this point.
So as long as they're compliant.
Have
I don't
to be
want to see those
compliant,
blue cones.
Yeah. All right.
So what do you got coming up for the rest of the year?
Rest of the year. So I'm from Las Vegas, and Las Vegas is extremely busy. We have, we're busy all the time, but this year especially. So in November, we have the Formula One race coming in. And they are saying it's going to be the biggest event in the history of Las Vegas. And I'm not a fan yet. I don't know much about this, but they say these teams are worth so billions.
The cars
billions
are just
of dollars.
unbelievable.
And they actually, fun fact, Las Vegas ran out of parking spots for private jets. That's how much money we're talking about. Every single parking spot.
And this race is going to be downtown on the streets of Las Vegas,
right down
not on
Las
a racetrack.
Vegas Boulevard.
It's downtown.
So they bring their own asphalt.
Right.
The race brings their own asphalt.
That's
They're
money.
going to repave Las Vegas Boulevard because it has to be completely smooth. No manholes.
That's how you get your potholes fixed. You just go to race.
No,
okay,
well, listen to this, Candice. So they repave it with this specific asphalt. They run the race, and then they come back and take it off and store it because we have the race for 10 years, and now we're going to store it somewhere. Every year they're going to repave the whole track and then take it off.
What are you guys doing planning-wise, fire department?
We have no idea. They in typical Las Vegas fashion, it's here. Good luck. So we are sending a contingent to Miami. There's a race beginning of May in Miami, so we're sending people to Miami to see what they're doing. And there's also a race in Austin. We're talking to people in Austin. So, but we really have no idea.
Yeah,
we really
that's
have
a huge
no
event.
idea.
It's just like Mardi Gras or anything. It's like, how do you move your assets around?
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to cross.
Exactly,
across the
right?
street.
And it's 5 days.
And it's right in the highest occupancy
absolutely, yeah.
area there is.
And then that's November, and then in February we have the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. And we've never had one of those, so here we are.
And maybe the Cleveland Browns will make it there this year.
Yeah, and maybe they'll bring all 1,200 of their fans.
How about you? What's the year look like?
Oh, Oh, so this year we have coming up. We'll have the National Volunteer Fire Council has a health and safety training summit, recruitment and retention summit that's going to be in Oklahoma City. We actually have stipends for volunteers to attend for free. We'll cover their travel, everything, but the deadline's May 1st, so you better get on the next 2 days and apply. And I've invited Fire Engineering Books to come and have a table there. So we have that coming up. And I'm really excited that I got invited to the Science Alliance to speak. That's like a nerdy little
Nerd.
goal of mine.
For smart people.
Yes. So
Maybe I need to
Science
scoot over a
Alliance.
little bit.
yeah, so that'll be in Tucson in November, and so excited about that. So just a lot of great stuff. Oh, a really cool thing, and I'm so grateful that you guys did this. The NVFC partnered with John Deere. John Deere actually put a documentary out about the volunteer fire service. And it's an actual movie. It's phenomenal. And I know you guys showed the teaser
Right.
during the opening ceremony before it and during the keynote, and so we're grateful for that. And we'll be doing movie showings. People can do movie showings all over the country. So such a cool movie. So if you get an opportunity to
So it's
see
actually
that,
going to be in theaters and
people can hold screenings.
Oh, hold screenings,
So
good.
yes. So yeah.
Fantastic. How about you, Chief?
cool. They're flying a drone in over us over here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're coming for us.
Is that a friendly one? Is that friendly drone? Okay, there you go. I got
All
the
right.
thumbs up.
What's on for you this year, Chief?
Oh, who
Silly
knows,
question.
man? I got to go decompress for a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and then we've got a couple meetings, of course, post action, after action for the show, and see how it did. I mean, it was phenomenal this year. Attendance was back up to our normal. I hadn't got the final numbers yet, but we were back up. Probably top 2 or 3 numbers that we've had. Just thinking about all the things that went on. Obviously, we had opening ceremonies. We had 60 plus workshops over 2 days. We had the 20 hot classes.
Wow.
And
Sold
they were
everything out.
pretty much sold out. There was like 1 or 2 spots here and there. Just phenomenal. I got to jump on the buses in the mornings and just say hey to everybody. And
Yeah, we heard what you did to one of the
boy.
buses. You need to tell this story because it's 6 a.m.
which day?
Yeah, about the little refresher, the MS refresher.
Oh yeah. So I picked the buses that were like going to the biggest live fire type classes
Right.
they were. I knew everybody on there would be like beefy, lots of tattoos, hats, so lots of stickers and all that stuff. So I jumped on the bus. I think it was maybe in Bobby Eckert's class, and I jumped up there and said, I said, thank you guys, David Rhodes, new editor. I wanted to say hey and meet you guys. And I just wanted to thank you. And this bus is packed, the couple volunteers, 55 students. And I said, this is the first time in history of FDIC that we have ever sold out the EMT research class. And it was dead silence for a couple of seconds, and they looked around, and then somebody was like, oh, he's joking. And it started going on.
They're like,
But-
it's too early for this.
But what was cool is you did get EMS research for most all of those classes this year because we're like, hey, we're doing victim removal, we're doing all
Yeah.
that stuff. That was a new thing, and pretty much like 60-70% of the hot classes, if it dealt with patients, and we got some really good reviews from that. People were saying, hey, I like the fact that y'all took it a little bit further and showed, hey, this is why we're actually rescuing this dummy. And you know how it is. We rescue the hose dummy and throw it out the window and stuff, but like there's a lot more to it. And a lot of times it's just transfer care
Right,
over,
right.
but how do you incorporate that and how do you do it? Because we don't want to create the muscle memory that you just drop the
Right.
baby outside the door so it can go be reset. So we added a lot of that, and in the workshops and in the classroom
Yeah,
sessions too,
perfect.
you could get a lot of credit for that. So we had that going on in the early part of the week, and then we had the opening ceremonies. Then we had like 300 classroom sessions that were just every classroom session I went in was packed.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a badge of honor for those instructors when you go out and you see that little sticker on your thing. It says class full.
Yeah.
And they're like not letting anybody in because of the occupancy load and all.
My sticker said instructor full of, never mind. A different sticker.
And I taught a pre-con, and so, which, is before, and people pay a little extra for that. So great class, a full room, and I called my husband and I said, guess what? And he's like, what? I said, people paid to come and hear me talk for 4 hours, and you get to listen to this for free every single night.
That's right.
So
He gets a deal.
yeah, so,
Absolute deal.
And I'm kind of an EMS nerd as well as a former EMS chief, and I love that the training here is CAPC certified.
Yep.
So, which is a big deal for those of us that are trying to get the EMS CE. It makes it so much easier when we go to renew for National Registry. So I think that is such a great move.
Absolutely. And like those hands-on training, you go for an 8-hour class. That was 8 hours of CAPC credit that you get for those. And it's been submitted and approved. We got a great relationship with them. Thanks, Sarah Jones, for all her work on getting those things done. And did you guys get to go to the Gems games at all? Did you get to see it?
I did not, but I heard the folks, there was, my friends from Delaware were sharing on social media that the group from Delaware did really good.
Yep.
So.
Who won, Chief?
I can't remember. I'm still in a
Was that from
whirlwind.
like Sussex County, Delaware?
That sounds
yeah,
right.
because I think that's what I read on Facebook.
Yep.
So.
And it was they have all these teams and they do prelims for like 4 days and
Right.
then they come in with the top 3 teams, and this is a production. They brought a car in on stage. They had people trapped. They had them professionally movie-style moulaged. One of the ladies had like her femur coming out of her leg, and they have 15 minutes to get up there, and it is like on. And I mean, they got to do all the triage. They got to do everything. They had firefighters on stage doing the extrication part of the vehicle wreck. Scenario this year was street racing. I don't know if anybody's having any trouble with
That
street
sounds like
racers.
a Vegas thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's happening everywhere. So they build a set. There's sound effects. I mean, it is a movie quality production. So if you have a team, and there was a young team here locally that put in and ended up getting second place.
Wow.
Nice.
Good for them.
So that was
Good
pretty
for
cool.
them.
But if you have a team, put that team together and look for that next year to get in. We want as many participants as we can in that, and it's just a badge of honor to come away with that
Yeah.
Gems trophy and all.
I think Miami-Dade won last year.
Yep, there's some teams. Last year's was complicated. That technical rescue, they actually had an amputation. They had to.
Yeah.
My favorite part of that one was, and this stuff looks real. We couldn't even show it. Like Facebook blocks it for the graphics. But like last year, they had to do the amputation and the collapse, and one of the medics was like, and they were actually slicing through a piece of meat. He goes, looks like my steak from St. Elmo's last night. So,
Typical firefighter.
yes,
Typical
it's the
firefighter.
same everywhere. It's
Yeah,
the same
exactly.
everywhere. And then, of course, he probably went and ate another one. But we had the Halton tribute, obviously, Wednesday, and then Thursday we had the stop, drop, and roll. And Jack, I see you out there. Come in here a minute. I got to tell a story on you.
Oh,
I got
boy.
so many Jack. Jack helped us kick this thing off Monday, but I got a story for Jack. You know, Jack has helped me all week. He's looked at my schedule, made sure I was where I was supposed to be. And
Big round of applause, everyone.
oh, you think of that.
Chief Jack Murphy.
Yeah. You can sit or stand. I know it's the same for you. So,
And we're off.
so come on in. Welcome, Jack Murphy. So I got to tell this story on Jack. So, you know, I have to go to so many kickoffs. Like I'm
Right.
kicking off this event and kicking off that event. May not have to be there, but like 10, 15 minutes. So we go to the fun run, the 5K, cancer deal. And Jack's like, all right, we got to go to Stop, Drop, Rock and Roll, the NFFF fundraiser. Beautiful. That theater, if you haven't been over there,
It is
that's like
gorgeous.
that's where Indy does their awards banquet. And it is just a beautiful old theater. So we get in there and we find our places and all. And I've never been able to go to these things because I've always been working in logistics. So all this stuff is brand new to me. And
That's
so-
why you wore cowboy boots to the 5K.
That's it.
Okay, got
Yep,
it now.
Yep, that's why I wasn't running, because I had to be. Now,
Yeah,
Bobby,
yeah. He was fast.
Bobby would run and then still make it towards the end of the event. But like with 18 years, I figured there was a lot of groups he was saying he couldn't make it to. My first year, I didn't say no to anybody that asked me to come. So we get over there, and Jack's briefing me. You know, he's like helping me out. He's got all this experience with this conference. And he goes, all right, Dave, now every year they have a country band that comes up from Nashville, they're like, a level 2 tier band, maybe not well known, but Bobby would come in here and he would dance and he would do this, and it's like, it's a country band every year. I said, every year? He's like, every year it's a country band. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll throw out a little old school humor from the old movie days and stuff. So I give my little welcoming remarks and everything, and I look over and I said, look, I know you guys have played the tribute to Bobby and everybody is missing Bobby, but we're here to have fun tonight. I said, this is a time for us to let loose and have some fun. And I said, we got the band here, and they're all like ready to go, right? They're over there. And I turned around and look, and I said, and I hear you guys like play both kinds of music. And they were like, and I said, y'all play country and Western. And they were like,
uh-oh.
And I'm like, okay, that one bombed. And then we kind of wrapped it up, got Sarnicki up there and Victor, and I walked off stage. And then they introduced the band as a local band who's a rock band. From and their first song is U2, Streets Have No Names. And I'm like, Jack, you're fired. And I got to tell this is my favorite Jack FDIC story of all times. And this goes back to the 5K.
Oh.
First time Jack, I think it was the first year that we did. That was the Courage and Valor
Right. Yes.
run. And so Jack's got this big group that's together. And Thursday night with Elizabeth from the housing company.
Right.
We had a little group that would go to dinner every Thursday night. And it was one of the FDIC traditions. And there was a couple of Brent Hollander, Jack. Who else would go on those with us? Ron Pierce.
Ron Pierce, yeah.
It's a pretty small
Anybody that
group.
worked with us,
Yeah.
as a collective group, either the educational group or
Right.
pick up the guys from Hot and everything.
So
about
Jack,
12 people.
Jack does the 5K, all right? And we're sitting at dinner at Palomino's.
Yep.
Jack's sitting right beside me. Jack's a good storyteller, so he's that's the thing. You guys know, when you come to FDIC and if you're with the same group, you tell the same stories every year.
They just get better.
They just
Yes.
get better. You've been
The
belly.
fish gets bigger.
That's it. So Jack is sitting there, and he's right in the middle of a story. We're like 30 minutes into dinner, and he's like, and so we're sitting there at the ball game, and suddenly, oh, and I'm like, okay, what's the point of this story? Like, what does that mean? And he goes, oh, and I look, and his leg is straight out under the table, and he has got the worst cramp of his life from coming to the 5K. So he stands up, and he's trying to work the cramp out, and we're like kind of laughing at him a little bit. He finally gets it worked out, and it's a bad one. Like
Yeah.
you guys, you've all had it, right?
Yeah.
So he sits back down, he regains his composure, he takes another sip of his libation there.
Libation, yeah.
And then he goes back to his story. And at the exact same place in the story, ooh, that leg locked up,
Yeah.
and it went on all freaking night.
That's the last time I ever ran.
Did you actually run?
No,
that time?
I can tell this story.
Yeah.
John O'Connell and I
Oh,
said
that's
we were
right.
going to be in the first race. I said, John, you running? Yeah, I run a little different. So, okay. He goes, I have a cigar. He said, we walk, and I have a portable ice bucket with me. A couple cans of beer.
Did he really take that with him?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And we
my
finished
kind
the
of a
race. We
marathon.
came in last,
Nothing, but you finished.
As you would.
but we finished. And the walking did me in, so.
That reminds me of a story, another 5K story. There's a lot of good 5K
Yeah.
stories.
Yes,
So,
there are.
you know our dear friend Angie Hughes.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so Angie was here one year and her husband was here. We were doing the 5K together and I had hip surgery, but I'm like, I'm still going to do this. Well, my hip gave out. Her husband had to give me a piggyback ride all the way to the finish line. But it was, yeah.
I wonder if anybody's ever gone in the canal.
We were talking about
no,
that.
not since I've been here. So since we started it, no.
Yeah.
Cold.
That's amazing.
Very cold nights.
Yes,
Rainy
rain,
nights.
rain.
Sideways rain.
Yeah.
And Bob finished all the time.
Yep,
Yeah.
of course.
It was good to see his son.
Yeah,
run
I think
this year.
Ryan finished like top 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, he showed up with the shoes with the toes. in him, and he was doing all these like
What?
fancy stretches
Oh,
and
yeah.
all, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah." We were able to raise a little bit more money.
Yes.
I threw out $100 on which Halton son would win, and I think he said they got like about another $500
Yes.
Oh,
on
good.
it.
Yeah, you shook me down
So-
all I had.
Oh yeah,
my
yeah.
socks.
That's
so,
right.
yeah.
Candice came up and handed me a wad of money. It looked like it was right out of her sock.
So Bobby's sister was walking, when I was walking with Bobby's wife, Bobby's sister was there. Next thing we know, she left us and took off. We see her on the other side. She goes, "I got my brother's competitive side." Like just
Oh,
like
there you go.
That was pretty cool.
And we were talking about some of the other events that were here. We had, of course, we had the stair climb, which is just huge. And one of the facts that came out there, they're at like 326 cancer deaths post 9/11. So it's looking like by September 11th, we will have more that have died after the event than died during the event. So
Just tell them about the registration a little.
yeah,
What we
Yeah.
have out
so
there.
that's another thing we
Yeah.
did Thursday. We kicked off with my buddy Kenny Fent at NIOSH, the National Fire Registry for Cancer. And I just saw them in the booth. They said they've done really well this week. Highly encourage everybody to register for that because we just don't know a lot. And the more information they can collect, the better off we're going to be for the future. And the message on Thursday was about servant leadership. And, even though it's pretty simple information to enter in, it may not do anybody any good in our lifetime. We don't even know what's going to happen, but that information could be the key ingredient to preventing cancer for the firefighters who might be 10 years old right now and not coming into the fire service. So it's kind of a professional responsibility.
And Chief, just to clear this up, all firefighters can register, not just firefighters
that's
with cancer.
correct.
All firefighters should be registering
Yes.
for this.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's if you've only been with one department and held one position, you can probably pop through it in 15, 20 minutes. If you've been in multiple departments, multiple positions, you do have to fill out for each one. But I had 3 departments, multiple positions, and it took me like 35 minutes or so to do it. So it's not bad, and it's critically important. So get that done. You can go to their website, National Fire Registry, and that's through NIOSH. We had Women in Fire here. Did you get to make any of those?
I got to speak on a panel.
That's
So the NVFC actually partnered with Women in Fire, and we wrote for them a guide on discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. And it wasn't just for women, it's for anybody in the fire service. And the guide is on the NVFC's website. You can download that for free. But it's a lot of great information for the employer and the employees, both. So, because a lot of stuff we just don't know what to do. So, we developed that guide. The Women in Fire event was really well attended. It was great to see everybody.
I think they said it was the largest group they've had here at FDIC.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well. So, yeah.
And they got a new president,
Tony Washington.
Tony Washington, who is from Georgia. That was kind of a running joke. People were saying, okay, the Georgia folks are taking over. And I said, well, after 2 national championships, back to back, then it's only natural that the Georgia folks come in here.
And if you visit MSA's booth, what's really cool is Nikki, one of their trustees who is phenomenal, woman from Baltimore County, does a lot of the training stuff. She is actually on MSA's big booth.
That's right.
So,
Yeah,
so
and-
she's now the poster child.
And she's like going away from the camera, so nobody really knew it was her, right? So she was like autographing her pictures. It was pretty good. That was a great event, and there's so many organizations that meet here that people don't even know about. So I wanted to mention a few. We have a Metro Chiefs group, which is a group it's like the second tier in command. The folks that are getting things done, that are ordering equipment and all. And they met for a day and a half over at the hotel, and then they had some phenomenal speakers come in, and it's a resource networking type event. We also had the GEMS conference, was the same. Had a lot of medical directors over there this year, which was unbelievable. We have the Department of Defense that meets here for firefighters. And even separate from that, this is a first of a kind. One of the Indy firefighters here, Chris Boykley, is in the Air Force Reserves, and he asked if he could bring the Air Force Reserve firefighters in here. And the first year they had 75 attendees, and they did 4 full days of training
Wow.
right here. in Lucas Oil and got all their yearly requirement in for their reserves. Who else did we have here? Anybody?
The Instructors Society, didn't they?
Oh,
have their-
that's
yeah.
right.
Yep.
Instructor Society, ISFSI meets. They've been partners with us. Of course, Brian killed it on his featured day and just did a great message. And we're going to continue our partnership with them. And of course, they gave out their award to a very deserving person, Keith Stakes,
Right.
the Instructor of the
Yeah.
Year.
Yeah.
There's so much, just so much that happens here. Just it's unbelievable.
I don't know if you mentioned up front, but the international groups that come.
Yeah, talk about some of the
Yeah.
ones we met, Jack.
Some of the ones we met from Brazil,
Yeah.
the groups from there, big contingency out of Mexico, the Netherlands, Germany, obviously Australia. They come on their own dime. They fly for like 19 hours to get here.
Yeah.
Jerry Mann teamed up with Jerry Tracy doing the Fire Dynamics.
Yep.
Jerry Mann is
Good man.
brilliant kid.
Great
Really,
man.
I call him a kid. He's 35.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
But he knows his fire dynamics. He really does. He does a lot on smoke movement and everything.
Yeah.
And he deals with a lot of high rises out of Millburn.
Yep.
Milburn.
Milburn.
Jersey accent. What can I tell
And
you?
then we had just some incredible special guests, 3 firefighters from the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And getting to know them and behind the scenes, they were showing us videos. It's unbelievable. One of the guys was on rope off of a high rise, and was lowered down so that he could cut a piece of rebar that was holding up the concrete rubble for 20 floors. He cut one piece of rebar, and the entire 20 floors of overhang hits the ground so that they could have access in to the patients in that building. Just unbelievable.
I can't imagine
Yeah.
what they're dealing with.
They gave us 2 flags.
Yeah.
They gave us an American flag and then a flag with, like it's sewn together with 4 sections. And we took it into the guest speaker room. We asked all the instructors to sign it.
Yep.
And they'll pick it up today.
Gave us some nice gifts, and they're going to ride along with Indy, and then they're headed to Chicago, and then I
Yeah,
believe New York,
yeah.
and they're going to do ride-alongs. But just an unbelievable experience with them. And I can't tell you how many international folks came up and took pictures on stage with flags that I didn't even recognize.
Yeah.
I mean, they're from everywhere. It's just unbelievable. Some things that are coming up for next year. I'm assuming you guys are putting in for
I saw the opening.
classes. It is
Yeah,
already up on the
yes.
website. You can go to the fire engineering website, FDIC website. The call for papers is open through the middle of June,
Okay.
I believe. So you putting in?
I'm going to put in, and we're going to try something different. We're going to put in for a pre-conference,
Okay.
and it's going to be on high rise, and we're going to call it the North, South, East, West, all in the same house.
You're not going to have that Canadian dude in there, right?
Yeah, the Canadian.
Canadian.
So
Brent.
Brent
Hey.
Brooks,
Brent.
Brent Brooks from
Hey.
Toronto,
Hey.
Jimmy Davis from Chicago, myself from the West Coast, Las Vegas, and we're looking for someone from the South, maybe a Bill Guston or someone like that. So the 4 of us, and just right here you go. Here's how we fight fire here, here in my buildings. Here's my department. Here's how we fight high-rise fires here. Here's Chicago. Here's Toronto. So we're pretty excited about that.
Awesome.
Good.
How about you, Candice?
I probably, because the recruitment retention thing is still such a needed thing, I'll probably put in for the 4-hour pre-con for that again, and absolutely enjoy sharing that message, so.
Jack, you going to be back with some high-rise stuff?
He'll be back from some high-rise stuff. Jerry and I will concentrate on the book next year. You know, understanding the vertical challenges. I won't stand up.
And the name of that book
Hey,
is?
I bought that book.
Yeah.
Pardon?
I bought that book.
Yeah.
I've been carrying it around with me, and my chiropractor's going to send you a bill.
That is the largest book we've ever published, I think.
Dave gave his byline was, it's so thick, it's 702 pages. He said the opening line is in the beginning.
Yes. It's incredible, though. The amount of information
Yeah,
in there is just
absolutely.
incredible.
That was like,
Absolutely.
believe it or not, that was like 7 years in the making.
Yep.
Yeah.
It really was.
And we
It's
told you before, the only book that took longer to write was the Bible.
the Bible. Yeah. Think of the experiences. All of us have about 35 years experience. Collectively, it's over 100 years experience in these buildings. It's soup to nuts. It's like, I thing that impressed me the most was the comments, and to get feedback from a gentleman like Paul Grimwood, what I call the Glenn Corbett of the UK.
Right,
You know,
yep.
he said it's a Bible.
It is.
He said
It
it's
is.
collectively experiences, lessons learned. These are appendices, the guidelines, and everything. And we're working on version 2 already. It won't take that long though.
So the bookstore's open for just a little bit longer.
12.
Till 12.
Yep.
And you can get Jack's book. You can get the Bobby Halton editor's opinion is still in there. And of course, I think our #1 seller again this year is Sprinkles 2.
Sprinkles, yes.
Sprinkles 2. And actually Sprinkles 1 was selling
Yes.
pretty
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah.
You got Frank Ritchie's new book, Command Presence.
Frank.
There's just so many great authors and material in
Yeah,
there.
and Tim Oak with all the photography.
Tim
photos.
Oakes, yeah. They got a beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful
Yes.
book
Yep.
of pictures from all over that he's put together that is just tremendous.
I have to throw a shout out to Paul Shapiro. He
Yep.
did large water delivery.
yeah.
Paul Shapiro's from Las Vegas. His health is really deteriorating. He's in a bad place right now. He's got a real bad heart. So if anyone, whoever you pray to, if we could say a little
Yes.
something for
Okay.
Paulie Shapiro, great man,
Yes.
great man. He was an instructor here for many, many years.
Yep.
Yeah, great man.
And something, as everybody finishes up and think about next year, unfortunately, we have had some very serious scooter accidents this year. So we have a firefighter that was here for the conference that had an accident on a scooter and is in the hospital currently. We've got a couple that didn't go to the hospital but looked like they should have gone to the hospital. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful on those things. We don't want you to come here and have a bad experience. So really think about what you're doing. All right, it's time to take a day off, one day only, and then we'll get started on FDIC 2024. We've got call for papers are out. So if you have something that you want to teach, then get those proposals in, whether it's hands-on training, whether it's a pre-con workshop, or just a general classroom setting. And I told the instructors, but I've hired Mike Champo to be my second in command there and our subject matter expert. And so he's going to be helping me over the course of the next few months put some things together. We're considering a new delivery, which will be a hybrid workshop, which will be part classroom, part hands-on, something we can do here in the conference center. And
We're almost back to where we started.
Yeah. So the history is hands-on training started as Hot Tuesday,
Right.
and it was like 5 classes out in the parking lot. And we're not totally going back to that as the singular model. We'll still have our regular hands-on classes, but we wanted to add a little bit of dynamic, something that you could get a little more than just a classroom demo. Maybe you can go outside and flow some water, see some high-rise packs laid out in a stairwell. We already do the elevator class here, so be thinking along those lines too, and hopefully we'll have some new offerings for that. All right, with that, thanks everybody for attending. This year has been a tremendous experience. You all have supported me tremendously. The comments in the hall have been excellent. And man, what an experience to be here. It was emotional, but also a recharge. It was a tremendous recharge for everybody that's here. I've had a blast, but I do want to sleep for about 24 hours, and then we'll get right back to it. So FDIC Live, we'll be right back with another show in just a few. Thank you.
Thank you.